Everybody, I'm going to be doing something very different today, and I'm going to be painting a very loose hydrangea. Now, I have actually painted this before in the past, and I'm wanting to kind of try and have another go at it. I'm going to show you on my iPad. The painting that I did was this one, and it was just very loose, but I thought it had a very fresh, clean, kind of modern look to it. And I actually sold this one. So I'm going to try and do it again. Now, the colours that I want to do today are these sorts of colours. And I've had a little bit of a play around with the colours and the effect. So I tried to have a go at doing the petals to see how to do them, the shape and the effect and all of that. Now, what I like with watercolour is when I kind of swirl together. I tried this brush, it did not work. It had too much of a shape to it and it didn't work. I tried a flat, that didn't work. And even though I really didn't want to use my good brushes, because this is a more of, you know, like an experimentative kind of play around, not serious painting. So I didn't really want to use my good brushes, but I couldn't find any rubbish ones that worked. So what I like is when I get a whole bunch of colours, and what I got was, let me give this another spray. I got some ultramarine, and then I wanted it to be a nice bright purple. So I got this really pretty rose madder and mix those two together. And I want to make up quite a large quantity. I'm using this little palette for the very first time that I just got on holiday in England, so that's quite exciting. I'm using a number 6 Da Vinci, and that is too pink, so I'm going to add some more. But see how they're separating? That's what I like. So what I found was this one was the best. That's the one I liked the most. So I'm going to try to go for that. I'm going to make it quite watery, just swirl them together so they're not totally mixed. And then I think what I did for the shape was pop him down and round it out and bring it in for that kind of petal. Keep it really watery and then press it down and sort of try and make some kind of a petal shape. And then I took a little bit of this one next to it, turquoise blue, mixed in a little bit again, and drop it in a little bit. Let that dry, and then we'll add the other two. Otherwise, I can see that going crazy. So that's what I think we're going to go for. I've got my palette. These are the paints that I'm going to use because they're not my good paints. They're just ones I got for more like playing around, more loose abstract. And I just saw this colour. So I'm just going to see what happens with that colour. And don't worry about me, I shake. So that colour is super pretty. So what I might do is do a few of them as well. What I'm going to probably do is do some like that, maybe some like this, and then maybe some that are more like blue at the top, because in this picture, I mean, obviously I'm not using this as an actual reference, but if we look at that, it's really blue, light blue at the top, and then it's much deeper and darker purple at the bottom. So that's what I'm going to go for. And then once it's all finished, I might put some gold in the middle to jazz it up a bit. And I quite like these big dots, so we might do some of them when it's done as well. So that's our kind of loose plan. I'm now going to talk to you about my paper. So, first of all, I'm going to show you the paint. It's this paint, Kiritaki, I think it's called. Anyway, I'm sure you know all about that. I don't think I need to go into that at all. I'm sure you know all about it. Yeah, Kiritaki. Everyone uses these things. I don't really do a lot with them. So this paper I got on my holiday, and I've never used it, and I'm very excited. And what I like the idea about doing it with this particular painting is I like the idea of it being square, because I think that will look, I like square. So all I did was I went around all the edges with this to remove the top protective layer. And I'm looking at this paper, and it's very textured for cold press. I mean, that looks really textured to me, a lot more. So it could be interesting. I'm going to use my new pencil that my mother-in-law bought me when I was on holiday, which is really pretty, isn't it? It's a mechanical pencil, but it looks like a real pencil, and it's metal. Anyway, I'm going to loosely sketch a circle, just for placement. I'm not going to worry with the stem at the minute because I don't know how that's going to go. But I just want to get an idea of placement. I'm going to go over those edges probably. I'm not going to be too precious about it, and just giving me a rough idea of where to go to keep it roughly a circle. Okay, what I'm going to do now is start. Yes, so we're going to go more blue at the top, and we're going to go more dark purple at the bottom. We're going to try and do that anyway. Try and get rid of that pencil. Okay. Oh, I feel nervous. Okay. I'm going to start with a nice purple in the middle. Shall we start in the middle? And sorry, I can't talk and do it. I think the other thing is that I don't think I want it to be like every petal the same. I kind of want it to have a little bit of variation. So that one's going to be purple. I'm now going to mix those together again. So we'll have a more bluish one. Let's try one at the top. And the petals kind of poke out the top, don't they? To bring it in a bit. And just because I really like this, I'm going to put a little bit of that in. See what happens. So it's going, because it's so rough, we're getting really rough edges. Oh well, let's just keep going. I'm going to get a little bit of pink for that top bit to drop in the middle. The opposite. Because that light blue didn't seem to do anything. Okay. Now I'm going to do a really dark purple at the bottom. So I'm going to use maybe the deep, Rose Madder Deep. And that's a bit pink. Nice deep purple, right. I'm looking at the photo of the hydrangea to see how they go. And the little tips of the petals kind of poke out. I'm trying to press it down to get the shape of the brush, but it doesn't seem to want to do that very much. I'm going to get another little palette because we want some blue. We want a light blue. I think this is called something like Purple Lake. It's a Winsor & Newton colour. I will check that. So do you think that purple looks better than the other purple I made? I think it does. It looks a bit more purple. So I'm going to throw a few of those in. Okay. I like where it's doing all this kind of separating situation. I love that about watercolour. When they all, you know, combine and mix together like that. Oh, that colour's pretty too. So it needs to be quite wet, I think, for that effect. That seems to be. So over here is really dark. That part's really dark. I'm going to make a really dark colour. Let's make a new colour. Cobalt Violet. Oh, I didn't see that colour before. Oh, that's handy. Awesome. Let's do that and let's get some indigo going into it. Oh, that's pretty. All right, let's use that down in this area here because this is like the darkest. No, it's not the darkest part. That's the darkest part. So let's do it here. I'm trying to look at the shape of those petals in the photo. And they're kind of like a little bit more like that, like a butterfly. Over here, they're more rounded. So, where's that violet? Actually, it's a bit lighter. Let's put a bit of this, might lighten it up a bit. Oh yeah, pretty. Yeah, because they're a lighter purple over this way. Okay, we're back. I took a photo of the stage that we're at right now because it actually looks really good. When you haven't seen it for a little while and you come in and you look at it, it looks really nice. It looks really good on the page. So I've done a little Google search and I found a single hydrangea here. And I just very loosely got the idea of having a leaf behind here and a little bit of a leaf poking out here. I mean, see how it's got a nice sort of a very yellowy stem, and we've got some of that poking through, which I thought looked really pretty. So I'm going to vaguely base it on that. I'm going to not rub out at this stage because it's actually, even though it's been drying for quite a while, it's still not, I don't think it's fully 100% dry. So I'm going to let it dry for a little bit longer. I've had a little bit of a play around and trying to think about these centers. I think what would be really nice is if we had, because most of them are really dark, if we had quite an opaque center. So even maybe white or this really light color. This one I did a combination of white and this really light blue. And I thought we might try and use that as our little centers. But we're not going to go there yet. I'm just going to very loosely pop in these, the stem and the leaf. So let's start with this leaf here on the left. I'm going to get my pencil, if I can find it. And we've got a little bit of the stem of the leaf. Then it comes up into this shape, tucking behind there, and then with the leaf, with the petals coming forward. And then it's got this kind of a jagged, you know, serrated edge. So I'm going to really lightly put that in. So I'm going to add that a little bit. And there's a bit of a vein there. And then the stem is going to be a bit wider than that. We're going to have a few little pieces of that green poking through. And here we've got this leaf. And it's got this situation with a serrated, but then it's actually quite flat. It's like the top of the leaf. The vein is more there. Try and take out some of these bits, the little bits that have got gaps. Okay, and then I think it would probably, it's not showing on the picture, but it would probably come up in there a little bit. I'm going to make up a really dark green for the leaves. I've got some hooker's green, and I might actually put some of that violet into it. And that looks good. And I might just put a little bit over there. Swirl it all together. I'm going to now do this big leaf. I'm going to wet it to start with. Trying to get into those little areas. So what I'd like to happen with this leaf is to get, I'm just going to do this half first, parts that are lighter and then parts that are darker. So it actually has veins through it. I don't know if I want to do that detailed. I don't think I do. But to get some variation, I'm going to start with this sap green, kind of run it through where it would be lighter. And then we'll get our darker colour. So hello again. I had a little break and let everything dry, and now I've taken a look at it again. I think it needs to have another leaf. So I just loosely drew in, I found another hydrangea and I just looked at the shape of the leaves, and I have very loosely sketched another leaf. And now I'm going to wet the whole thing again and try and put in these little serrations, which are just going to be there. And try and use the same colours if I can remember. So I'm going to use a light colour for through the centre, as I've still got this one on this little palette. Might as well just use that. And then I'm just going to use whatever's on the palette, really. So I didn't have to remember after all, did I? Yeah, this is a nice dark one. And a bit of it was indigo. Where it's really dark. And I will just let him, he's got a few of these. Let's do a little flicky out bit. Oh, that looks good. And then while it's wet, I'm going to get that other colour, which, have I got enough on this little palette? can, trying to do it thick. All right, I think that might do. When it dries, I've got to take the pencil off. Other than that, I think we might say that's it. So I hope that you enjoyed it, liked it. I'm going to take a photo of the end result and put that up. And if you watched and enjoyed it, thank you so much. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.